Welcome back to the Freeze Zone. Here on Hoth, G1 will bring you the next installment in the Black Series, as we take a close look at Luke in Hoth gear with his furry Wampa pal. Now, be prepared to be frozen stiff with excitement with a frosty origin story. If you ever find yourself lost on the outer rim area of Hoth, you may encounter a Wampa, a carnivorous reptile mammal who stands over 2 meters tall. They were opportunistic creatures that would attack just about anything they encountered, but made the local tauntaun a favored prey. The Wampas were known to stun their prey and then drag them back to their lairs for a slow feast. They were an endangered species, mostly due to the fact that big game hunters could return a hefty bounty for their fur and for their heads. Luke's unfortunate mishap with stumbling upon one almost led to his demise, if not for his training in the Force when he severed the limb of his attacker. And now for your favorite part of the review, the box detail. Let's get a close look at this. Now at the top right corner, you got Luke in his Hoth gear. Right there, he's hanging upside down with a couple accessories in there we'll go over later. And the Wampa, guys. The Wampa looks awesome. He looks very detailed. I love the blood effects around his mouth. He's looking great so far. So we're going to get into that, but it says Star Wars Black Series at the bottom, Luke Skywalker and Wampa with your Hasbro logo. And if we flip this around, we get a picture on the back there of the Wampa right here dragging Luke through the snow. So yeah, pretty cool scene. I wish it was a little bit more focused in on the Wampa, but hey, it makes you wonder, right? So we got the bottom, we got a Disney logo, we got a Hasbro logo, and then we got a story at the top here. If you like to pause that right there, you can to read that. But guys, I can't wait to get this open and see what kind of details this guy provides. You know, Luke doesn't need any help escaping the clutches of his Wampa buddy, but we're going to set him free anyway for your entertainment. Upon release, the Wampa lunged at Luke, so he lopped off an arm, thus making an example of the beast. That's a bad Wampa. Actually, this was just an attempt to show you this option. This is an extra you have with this setup to display your Black Series Wampa scene, and we love it. It's always nice to get a little surprise when opening your case fresh action figures. So let's take a close look at that real quick. Look at that blood effect around the arm. That is so cool that they added this feature with this setup of the Wampa. And look around the arm, there's all the bloody, meaty parts of the Wampa on the inside. That is sweet, guys. Love it so far. Let's get to the articulation and sculpt for you. Hey, so I thought I'd do some quick size comparisons with the new Hoth scene. You got the Wampa there, and you got the tauntaun and Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. Now, the Wampa comes in right at about 8.5 inches, whereas the tauntaun comes in at about 9 inches back there. So I would think the Wampa should be bigger than the tauntaun, so I'm a little bit disappointed with how big the tauntaun has been so far. Han is a little larger as well. He's about 6.5 inches when straightened out. Luke's at about 6 inches, so, you know, he's about a half an inch taller, which is fairly movie accurate there, I believe, so that's not a big deal. But the creatures, I would have liked to see the Wampa be a little larger than the tauntaun. But so far, it's a really cool looking set. I'm actually liking this Luke in Hoth gear a little better than this Han in Hoth gear so far. Even though Han has extra accessories, I just like the look of Luke. He just has a better look. He looks more like he's right directly from the movie, and I really like that a lot. So let's get into the sculpt and articulation on both these items. For some quick size and sculpt variations here between the vintage Wampa and the new Wampa, I brought in this old guy from the 80s here. This is pretty cool, guys. 6.5 inches is what that one stands at, whereas the new one's about 8.5 inches. So about 2 inches taller on the new Wampa. You know, so far, I'm liking the new Wampa a lot better. There's just so many more detailed items, so many better things on this new Wampa than the old one. The old one is, you know, very plain. He does have this cool color variation on his mitts there, so that's kind of neat. He's, you know, got some decent, sculpt around the horn area there, but they move around a little bit, but they're not really pliable. The sculpt is all, you know, continuous through the body sculpt, the arm sculpt, and the leg sculpts, whereas the new Wampa has a lot of different molds and a lot of different sculpts that they've added to that guy. So really cool. I like the old Wampa, but the new Wampa has just really brought a lot more to the table. And let's go ahead and start with his head and take a look at those blood effects. Those blood effects look fantastic. This was almost a necessity, I think, for this guy. The mouth area, I'm not too impressed with. I think they could have done it a tiny bit better in the mouth area, but not too bad. I'm not going to complain too much about that. I do like the eyes. See how they got that yellow and that gray in there and around the eye area? That looks really cool. He looks weathered and he looks great. The horns are there. They are pliable on the horns that you can move them around a little bit. The head sculpt is fairly is just one big large head sculpt. And there's no lot of differences going on, but it's individually done, so you can see those hairs in there, which is really cool. I dig the head. It rotates about this far back and forth. You don't want to stress it and go too far. The arms do rotate up, not too far, on the arm joint. It does go 360 all the way around. It has a single jointed elbow, and it does rotate at the elbow. Also, the Wampa does have a wrist articulation with a hinge that allows him to go up and down. No finger articulation, but it has nice detail there in the hands, and I like how the fingernails are painted as well. So very cool articulation and sculpt thus far on this guy. You know, this side of the arm does not pop out. It just pops out this direction only, because that's what they want you to do, to take that arm off to set him up however you want. But you don't want to try to raise it like that on this side, because it'll break that knob right there off on you. So, okay, so we got, you know, really, I like the color variations too that they've used on this new Wampa. You got like this Arctic white up here, and then it goes into an off-white creamy feel down in here. Same with the arms, and same with the legs. It does the same thing. I thought that was really cool, because it makes him look aged. It makes him look weathered. I really did like that effect. That was awesome. Into his waist articulation, he does swivel all the way around 360 if you need him to. He does have a small ab crunch to the front and a small ab crunch to the back. Not too much, just a little bit. He does have a bottom waist swivel as well. So you got an upper right here, and then you have a bottom right here. So that's really cool. I like that effect. I like that feature. I like that effect. I like that option. So up into his legs. Now his legs do kick out just a little ways, not too far. You don't want to stress him. He does kick back a little bit, and he kicks forward quite a bit there. He does have an upper thigh swivel. He has a single jointed knee bend right there, which does rotate there at the knee. And then he has the feet articulation back and forth, and he does go up and down with an ankle pivot even. Wow, this thing articulation wise has been awesome. Pegs in the bottom of the feet, just the small pegs. I'm wishing they would have done the feet a little differently, like the new Tauntaun, where they added detail where you could actually see the pads of each little piece of his foot, which was cool. That would have been even better and made this figure near perfect for me. But he's awesome, guys. Let's get into the Luke and show you that one next. We're back, and we brought our vintage Luke, Hoth Luke that is, from the vault, just to give you a quick overall comparison of those two figures. Now, the old one is, of course, at 3 3/4 inch scale. The new one is at right about 6 inch scale. So, you know, not a big difference there. That's the vintage line as opposed to the new Black Series 6 inch line. Now, the old vintage Luke, he looks pretty cool. I actually liked all the different color variations they used on this one. He looked really cool. His sash here, I wish it would have been pliable, but it wasn't. It's just a little bit, you can bend it just a little bit, but it's not great. There's his rifle he came with from the vintage line. So yeah, this is a cool figure for the age and for what it is. It was good looking for its time, but man, this new one is just so much better in my opinion. It's got so many good things going on with this guy. So let's take a look starting at the head sculpt. Now, as you can see, there are some scratch marks from that Wampa that he put on Luke's left eye, I'm sorry, his right eye there, looks like. Very cool. I like that they added that little detail in. That's just so movie accurate, it's not even funny. So I like this little communicator too that they put on his head here. It's not movable, it's pliable, but not movable, so you don't want to try moving this thing around very much. But the detail on his hat there looks really good. Excellent detail on that all the way around that. Especially this little piece here. I like the fact that this is cloth now and that you can move it around accordingly. I don't like the fact that it's a little flimsy. I think that over time this thing will definitely come off on you. So not too fond of that. But let's look at his articulation. He does go all the way around 360. He looks down and he goes up just a hair, not much. No side-to-side pivot on the head. That's what you're getting there. On his arms, they move out about that far, rotate 360. He does have a single jointed elbow bend with a rotation at the elbow, no double jointed elbow, and no wrist articulation other than just a little bit right here, just right in the forearm area. No wrist articulation whatsoever. That's a kind of a bummer. I wanted to see some wrist articulation there. Let's look at his weapon real quick. Now, this is his lightsaber, of course. Detailed fairly nicely. It's got that little thing you can attach to his belt right there, I believe. Yep, you can attach it right on his belt right here if you so wish to. So that's pretty cool. My blade came a little warped here. As you can see, it's a little it's bent a certain direction here. I might have to take a hairdryer to that. But I really like the color on his lightsaber this time. It looks better than the other releases. It's a little bit kind of a deeper blue. And I really thought that came out a lot better. So let's look at his pistol as well. His pistol, he does have the hand that grips it with the finger that goes through the trigger on the right hand. It does have the detail of the silver on the barrel, and he does have some brown here on the gun as well. If you take a closer look at it, right here, you can see that there's some brown there on the bottom of the gun. So it looks nice. It's detailed nicely. His gun's in good condition. I dig it. Let's look at his chest area. Now, he's got all these decorations here, and he's got a little badge up there. Looks very nice. The detail here is awesome. I like that little shininess they gave it on this feel here. He does have an ab crunch to the front, a little bit of ab crunch to the back. He does rotate at the waist all the way around 360. Looks really good. I even like his belt. Look at all the detail on his belt they've done. That just looks so good. Love this Luke so far. I'm really loving it. Now, I kind of like the fact that the belt is fixed and that it doesn't move around. Now, this bottom part of his waist does move around a little bit. It's a little bit pliable. You can pull this up and maneuver it a little bit. But I like the fact that this belt is attached to that piece, that whole piece that moves. That's a lot better. Of course, there is the holster for his gun, and it does have a little peg that thing can fit in to hold his gun right there perfectly in his on his belt. That's really nice. He's got this decoration on his arm here, and this different feel here of colors. I love the darker tan to the light creamy feel. That's just so good. It looks great. Neither wrist articulates, so that's kind of a bummer. But you got some forearm. Mid forearm rotation there, so that's cool. His legs do kick up forward and backward quite far. They do move out to the side. He does have an upper thigh swivel. He has a double jointed knees on this one. He does have no calf rotation, but he does have feet that move up and down. He has a wonderful ankle pivot all the way around if you want it to, and that's about all you're getting. But he does have the double pegs in the bottom of his feet. Now, one of those pegs, I am assuming, is to put him on a tauntaun, because that's what Han Solo's feet look like, and he does ride tauntauns in this gear, so that must be the reason. But yeah, look at the detail. Everything looks really nice. The boots, everything, all of his pant leg detail. This Luke is really impressive as far as I'm concerned. He looks very movie accurate, and I love it. It's a great looking figure. Let's go ahead and move on into the grading for you next. All right, first things first, we're going to jump right on into the appearance for this set. Wow, guys, I am blown away by this set. There are just a few little things that could be better, but for the most part, the set is amazing. Appearance, they're going to get a 9. And then into articulation. Now, both figures articulate a lot, and I was really impressed by how much the Wampa had for articulation, as well as Luke. He has some good articulation, minus the wrists area. That was a little bit of a bummer. But everything else is awesome, so for articulation, this set gets an 8. And then straight on into durability. I was a little bit worried moving the Wampa around. Now, he's stiff, so you want to try to move him to see if you can get him into these deeper poses. But when doing so, I believe things will break. So you have to be careful with the Wampa when you're articulating him. Luke is a little better. It's not quite as flimsy feeling as the Wampa. And the Wampa, don't get me wrong, it's a very sturdy, heavy figure. But I think with the way he's made, you want to move him more than he's allowed. So for that reason, I'm going to give them a 7 in durability. And into collectability, this set is amazing. Far better than the Tauntaun and Han set, I feel, in my opinion. I'm going to give them a straight 10 in collectability. I feel if you're getting anything from the Hoth series, this is going to be the one you want to get. An overall score from these guys is going to get an 8.5. We are at a loss for arms. I mean words. This is such a cool set for any Star Wars enthusiast, and we thank you for watching our review. The G1 lesson of the day reminds us that when your arm gets severed, you must be hungry. Hey guys, if you like our reviews, show some love and subscribe. You won't be sorry that you did. Also, if your cash isn't frozen in some offshore account, check out our eBay store at G1 Toys 2015. Whether you're hanging out or just upside down, always take a moment to channel your inner toy. This is Luke. Echo Base, come back. Echo Base, are you there? I read you loud and clear. How was I supposed to know it's Tauntaun mating season? I'll get back as soon as I get my ride under control. So come on, Ron Jeremy, let's get home. It's getting dark. I know you smell something irresistible, but if we stay out all day chasing tail, we're gonna freeze. Now stop that. The last thing we need is more stinky Tauntauns running around at base. Let's get going. Oh, Ron Jeremy, are you okay? Oh, my pancreas. Oh, why didn't the Force warn me? Oh. Who are you? I'm Batman. Are you really hanging here by choice? Thought it looked cozy, and when I saw you had a lightsaber, I knew I'd be safe from the creature. Aren't you supposed to be saving me? Instead, you hang next to me for protection? I decided if I hung next to you long enough, I could observe you and learn the ways of the Force. It's not easy to fight crime when you have no powers. I worked hard with Yoda for this skill. I really don't think you can learn anything from hanging next to me. Only time will tell. Oh, look, here comes Mr. Wonderful. Roar! Watch this. Next time you need a can of Wampas, give me a call, kid.
Riding through the monsoon.